From autumn 1993, I think it was. That's Paul Young and a track called Now I Know What Made Otis Blue on Freedom FM. Well, good morning and welcome to the early Monday night cruise. 2 hours of the best 90s and noughties relaxing and romance tunes on your radio. My name is Feargal. Thank you for joining me and I hope I can make it worth your while to stick around this morning. A little bit later, I'm going to get you in on some love, slowed down action, and if that wasn't enough, in a few minutes we're going to squeeze the last few drops out of the weekend. And I'll tell you more about that in a bit. If you want to get in touch with me this morning for any reason whatsoever, then feel free to bang me over a WhatsApp or text to 085 2899 092. And if you are going to WhatsApp me, then why not send a voice note? If you want to email me, then it's hello@freedomfm.ie, and on Insta, Blue Sky and Threads, it's voice actor Fergs. Well, that's the housekeeping done, so let's get this cruise out of port with Nicole and Robbie, shall we? You're listening to the Night Cruise on Freedom FM, the best in relaxing and romance tracks from the 90s and noughties. So tell me, did you have a good weekend? Well, if you did or you didn't, I'd love to hear about it for a part of the morning we like to call I Know What You Did Last Weekend. And yes, I realise that is a terrible segment name. So it's 085 2899 092 on WhatsApp to celebrate what you got up to over the weekend. As for me, well, if you know me, it was a rugby TV weekend. Ireland-Wales on Saturday early afternoon, Scotland-England on Saturday early evening, and France-Italy on Sunday. And when I wasn't squatting in front of the TV watching rugby, I was squatting in front of the TV playing Hogwarts Legacy with my youngest. And in case you were worried, you'll be glad to hear I did manage to get some fresh air when I just about remembered to walk the dog. Now, I'm sure that your weekend was either way more exciting or relaxing than mine, so get in touch on WhatsApp 085 2899 092 and let's squeeze the last few drops out of the weekend before we all end up back in work later this morning. Released in early 1990, so it just about scrapes into our playlist. That's The Flowers and Movies on the Night Cruise from Freedom FM. Good morning. Thank you for joining me and for reaching out to tell me what you've been up to this weekend. So let's start this week's I Know What You Got Up To This Weekend by saying good morning to Grace Cummings, who's been in touch to say, Feargal, on Friday night I went with my partner Arthur Green to see the Bee Gees story in the Civic Centre in Tala. We had a great night out listening to all the Bee Gees hits, including the ones they sang themselves and the ones they wrote for others. Thank you for getting in touch this morning, Grace. And you know what? I've never heard any Bee Gees track performed live by anyone. I think I might be missing out on something. And finally for now, Leo Hartley's been in touch from Cork to say, Feargal, on Saturday my wife Jane and I went to see the 80s classic movie Predator. Leo continues, I hadn't seen it on TV in years and not on the big screen since I was a kid back in the 80s. It was a great night out and a nice way to remember Carl Withers. You know what, Leo? I just realised that I've never seen Predator. I think I have to sort that out during the week. Now, listen up, you still got time to get in touch and tell me what you got up to over the weekend, because I'll do one more round of I Know What You Got Up To This Weekend right after we lend an ear to Annie. From their 1991 album Of the Heart, Of the Soul and Of the Cross, that's PM Dawn's biggest hit, set adrift on Memory Bliss on the Night Cruise from Freedom FM, where we have been celebrating what you got up to over the weekend for a part of the program called I Know What You Got Up To This Weekend. So let's start this final round by saying good morning to Olivia Buckley in Galway, who's been in touch to say, Feargal, my husband Darren and I are just back from the Mick Lally Theatre, where we went to see Brian Friel's play The Faith Healer. I'd never seen it before, and it was a brilliant performance. Well, thanks for reaching out, Olivia, and I'm glad you had a good night out, and it is a good story, isn't it? And finally for this morning, I want to say hello to George Brennan in Malahide. Feargal, he says, my partner Brian Cunningham and I are just back from seeing Niall Horan in the 3 Arena. It was a brilliant gig and both of us are still buzzing from the show. Thank you for getting in touch this morning, George, and it does sound like you and Brian had a blast. Now, remember, if you liked hearing what we got up to over the weekend, then you know what to do. Tell a friend and come back next Monday morning just after 1 when we'll do it all over again. Getting the second hour of this morning's night cruise underway, that's Gabrielle's 1999 number 1, Rise. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. And the good news is you're just in time to have a go at our Love Slowed Down game. Now, if you haven't played this before, let me run how it works by you. In a moment, I'm going to play you a snippet of a 90s or noughties relaxing or romance song, and all you have to do is tell me what song it is. The catch is, I've slowed the song down from 45 to 33.5 RPM. So, with that said, let's have a listen to this morning's Love Slowed Down, shall we? Now, if you know what song that is and want to be in with the shot of possibly winning yourself a name check, yes, a name check on the radio this morning, then send me in your answer to WhatsApp 08528999092 and tell me what song this is. And if I get any wrong answers, I'll tell you some of those right after we hear from George. Good morning, you're listening to The Night Cruise from Freedom FM, and that was UB40's 1993 number 2. I Can't Help Falling in Love with You on Freedom FM's Night Cruise, where I want to say thank you to everyone who's been playing along with our Love Slowed Down game this morning. Now, if you've just tuned in and are wondering what I'm on about, well, you see, a little earlier, I played a short snippet from a famous 90s or noughties romance or relaxing song, and I'm asking you to tell me what song it is. And to make the game interesting, I've slowed the snippet of the song down from 45 to 33.5 RPM. So before I give you another listen to the song, I can tell you that some of you have sent in some wrong answers, including I'll Never Break Your Heart by the Backstreet Boys, Lisa Loeb's Stay, and Endless Love by Mariah. So, with those cleared up, here's your last chance to listen to this week's Love Slowed Down. Now, if you know what song that is and fancy being in with the shot of possibly winning yourself a name check on the radio just before 3 a.m, then WhatsApp me in your answer to 08528999092, but be quick, because the answer is on the way right after Sean Combs. Aren't we all supposed to stand up whenever a Boyzone song hits the key change, or is that just Westlife? From 1994, that's Love Me For A Reason on the Night Cruise from Freedom FM, where loads of you have been playing along with this week's Love Slowed Down game, where I asked you to tell me what famous 90s or noughties romance or relaxing song this is. I got many correct answers, but as you regular night cruisers know, because of our computer system, I can only name check 4 people at any one time. So with that cleared up, let me say good morning and well done to Sophie Roach, who sent her answer in from Kilkenny, Thomas Barry, who got in touch from Maynooth, Claire Barr, who's in Delirious this morning, and Fred Lynch, who reached out to me from Swords in Dublin, who all said that this morning's Love Slowed Down is... hang on a moment. Just before I tell you the answer, can you do me a favour? And if you enjoyed playing Love Slowed Down, tell a friend and come back next Monday just after 2 in the morning when we'll do it all over again. As for this week's song, well, it's James Blunt's High. That's Savage Garden and Truly, Madly, Deeply, and that song tells me that that is all the mess I can make of your radio this morning. Thank you for your company, both you and your messages made of the show as always. Now, Mike O.B. will be serving up breakfast at 8, and just before him, Alan will be here with Freedom Years from 7. As for me, I'll be back a little bit later on at 11 this evening with another night cruise. Until then, thank you for your time this time. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.